Hi guys, welcome to another beer review, and this is something pretty fucking special and a little bit topical, and I'd imagine when this gets uploaded this conversation will still be in full effect. So today we're going over to Russian River and we're having a look at Pliny the Elder, Pliny 4 President 2020, which is a double dry hopped version of Pliny the Elder, clocking in at 8% ABV. And massive shout out to the legend that is Adam from Mersey Beers for kindly gifting me this beer. He won a few Russian River beers and maybe a couple of others. I can't really remember. There's a group that we're part of where like traders and stuff will put like American beers and all sorts, and like other sort of beers that are hard to come by and highly sought after. And it's sort of like a little bit of a, what's the word? It's like a raffle where there's 10 numbers and you write a comment, you pick a number, and then basically once it's all full, the person who's posted the photo with the beers will like in the description will like say, oh, it's £10 per entry. And a lot of the time you're getting, you're paying upwards even more than £10 for a lot of the beers that are on there anyway. So it's a good way for people to get a chance to try these like highly sought after beers without breaking the balance, and also it gives the traders a nice little wad in the back of their pocket. So yeah, Adam kindly gifted me one because he won the lot. So yeah, it's see, I had so many ideas for this review, but I don't want to really sort of like pointlessly alienate or troll people. Do you know what I mean? But as I'm recording this the night that it's being confirmed that Joe Biden is the president of the United States, and of course Donald Trump is kicking a fuss over voter fraud and requesting votes to stop being counted and that sort of thing, which I don't agree with. I don't think there has been voter fraud. Time will tell, because he's got a right to question it. It's not like this hasn't happened, years gone by. So he's got a right to actually contest it in a legal way. Now, what the outcome of that will be, time will tell. I'm not going to make an opinion or predict. I think Joe Biden is going to be the president, still be the president after that's all been sorted. And to me personally, the one thing I will say, I mean, you can see a lot of my political sort of opinions about all sorts of subjects on my like personal Facebook page and stuff like that. I'm just going to say, that's all I can say. It's just like, I don't see a good outcome at all. No matter how this election would have gone, I don't think it would have been a good outcome for America, because unfortunately America is a very divided country, of course, and I think it's going to be a long time, maybe with some reform to help it along the way, before America can, come together. So there are a lot of people who are really happy right now, and there are some people who are really angry, and people will take it out on each other. Families will be broken up, friendships will, sever, and relationships will probably end. But yeah, I've not really got too many positive things to say, regardless, and that's all I'm going to say on this. I think Joe Biden, there were some things that I very much agree with him on. There were some things that I agreed with Trump on, but there's also a lot of stuff that I'm very apprehensive of, and I think they both are really very questionable individuals, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. So I'm going to be central, because I'm more of a centrist sort of libertarian. I can see good and bad on the left, I can see good and bad on the right, and I can make my own choices, and it's okay to cherry pick. You don't have to, you know, toe the line or whatever that term is. So anyway, political element of this video out of the way. Let's get this opened, excuse me, and see what we get. So this was canned on the 20th of October 2020, of course, at 19 minutes past 1 with 23 seconds on the clock. So what date are we now? It's the 7th of November, so 2 to 3 weeks old. I can't believe I'm actually holding this beer. I think Rob from Hopscene has tried it and he wasn't exactly bowled over by it. I think it's one of those beers where you sort of fall into that trap of overhyping it for yourself. But I'm extremely thankful to be trying some Russian River. And yeah, much like the election, very divided on the opinion of this, but I think it leans more in its favour of being a nice double IPA. So, I'm sure my subscription or subscriber count will be affected by this video. I will probably put a little bit of a comedic, tongue-in-cheek thumbnail on the video, of course, but anyway, let's see what we get for the beer. And funny enough, I'm going to be doing a live stream tonight as well, so it makes perfect sense to crack this open and share a drink with my brothers in beer. That's what it's all about. Let's just set differences aside and just be good to each other. Do you know what I mean? You can have opinions and you can make derogatory sort of jokey statements and jokes and things like that, but don't fall out with each other at a time like this when the world's falling apart. I should be saving this for the end, but anyway. So beer in the glass then, and shock horror, it's not a hazy beer. You wouldn't expect that with Pliny the Elder, of course, anyway. It's got a little bit of an unfiltered look to it. It's got a nice sort of amberish gold hue, and the head pretty much disappeared straight away, looking like a good old-fashioned sort of West Coast IPA. So let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, and it's got that classic American West Coast aroma. Getting a like sort of hint of like a menthol character coming through. It's got a real dense, resiny stickiness to it. Really herbal. To the point where it's almost got a savoury, subtle, smoky edge to it. Lovely white pepper aroma coming through. Nice little bit of a sticky malty sweetness. And then just a lovely bouquet of those American hops we all know and love. I'm not sure what the actual sort of malt build or hop profile of this beer actually is. Well, not hop profile. Hop profile's what you get from the aroma, but I'd imagine it's got stuff like Citra, Chinook, Cascade, that sort of thing in there. Nice subtle zestiness, a little bit of lime, a little bit of grapefruit. Smelling good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, folks. It's got an abrasive edge to it, and it really attacks your palate. I don't think it's palate wrecker territory, but you do get a pounding of bitterness throughout the drinking experience, and a real sort of like bulk as it goes down. There's maybe a little bit of a sort of an alcohol edge to it, a warming sensation as I'm drinking this. But that's sort of like playing into that bitterness that I'm getting as well. Nice upper medium mouthfeel. It's got a crisp carbonation, but there's a little bit of an oily hoppiness to it, if that makes sense. It's got real presence. It's not a subtle, sweet, rounded drinking experience. It's in your face, but it's not aggressive. Unlike presidential campaigns. Well, let's stop just pigeonholing this on America. Leadership campaigns, because Lord knows we've got problems here in the UK when it comes to our mainstream political parties. But who am I to tell you what you should do when it comes to your political opinions and how you vote? I sort of get bogged down in seriousness, don't I? That sort of like spicy peppery edge is coming through as well. It is drinking really nicely, and it's a lovely beer, but I'm not really sort of like, wow, blown away completely by it. I was sort of expecting that. I was preparing myself that. I didn't want to fall into that trap of, oh my God, Russian River, I'm going to love this beer. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a real taste of the old school. It harkens back to sort of a different beer landscape. It really, really does. And for me, it's that level of abrasiveness that I really like about this beer. I mean, what did I have earlier today? I had this, which is, for me, one of the best IPAs I've had this year. But completely different experience. Obviously, East Coast, like fruit juice in a glass, really smooth, creamy, bulky body to it. So it's a complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I love it because not many brewers are brewing these sorts of beers now and doing like a really good job with it. They're doing like a modest attempt, but this like old school. Russia River's got a reputation for knocking out some great beer, with probably one of the most sought after beers ever, Pliny the Elder. And I'd like to try Pliny the Elder, of course. But yeah, I like this. I mean, look at it. It's got like a sort of like a whiskey look to it now. That head's just dissipated straight away, and it's not really leaving too much like an oily sort of layer on the inside of the glass, but it's definitely leaving a film on my palate and my tongue and the inside of my mouth. I mean, if you get the opportunity to try it, try it. Do you know what I mean? Because, I mean, even people in America, you know, I've had a better chance of drinking this compared to some people who actually live in America due to like the licensing laws and from state to state and transporting beer and what have you. So I'm very, very blessed and lucky to be able to bring this review to you today. And I'm so thankful for Adam for, you know, being so generous and providing me with a can of this. It's got a real sort of, it's got a sense of occasion to it, but for me personally, I've had much more sort of exciting IPAs, but don't get me wrong, if you had a 4-pack of this, you'd be laughing. You really, really would. It's one of those double IPAs where it feels like a double IPA, which is not a bad thing. I wouldn't like to get too crazy with a beer like this. And I don't think will. I think this is going to be something of a sipper for me today. So, my review of Pliny the Elder, Pliny for President, double dry hopped 2020, or Pliny for President 2020. If I could vote, if I was American, I'd be voting for this all day, or the Libertarian Party. But yeah, Ron Paul must be one of the most saddest politicians ever. Do you know what I mean? One of the few politicians who speak sense, and just his party never, that he's linked to, of course. I'm not sure if he's still, is he still a representative? Is he still active? I'm not too sure. I mean, how the American voting system works, I still don't know. The BBC can go through it, dissect it, as many times as they want to. Sky News can. Yeah, I could read like a bullet pointed like blog really in depth. Still don't fully understand how the American system works, so it's unfair for me to, you know, make opinions on that as well. But yeah, anyway, to cut a long story short, this is a really nice beer, and just like its ABV, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. But 10 out of 10 for like the experience, if that makes sense, as opposed to the beer itself. So yeah, if you've tried this, then let me know your thoughts